Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing really well today. Welcome to day 2 of our 3-day challenge, Ignite Your Intuition. The challenge has been for us to see if in 3 classes, 3 days together, you can actually increase your intuition, open it up even more. If you are here with me live, say hello in the chat if you're willing. If you are watching the replay, you can always put #replay. We check all the comments and want to support you in any way we can. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for being here. Sheila, welcome. Let's get started. So I'll give you a quick recap of what we've done so far. So this is our 3-day challenge, Ignite Your Intuition. Day 1 was yesterday, the 5 stages of intuitive development. We went through all 5 of those stages. If you haven't had a chance to see that training yet, you can find it inside the Facebook group. You can probably find it on YouTube, and I know you can find it on my website at michellegailey.com. We did that yesterday. Hopefully that was super helpful. Don't feel like if you didn't go to that, it's okay. Stay here with me right now. You can still do this today. Don't worry. And day 2, we are doing Discover Your Strongest Ability today. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to take you through a guided meditation, a quick one, but it's a really great exercise in seeing if you're more of a seer, feeler, hearer, knower. And I'll go over that in just a second. And tomorrow we're doing Overcoming Fears, Doubts, and Judgments about your intuitive abilities, because that's probably the blocks that we go through. Awesome. I see even more people hopping on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here with me live. Why am I doing this challenge? Because it's October, at least at the time of this recording. You may be watching it at another time, but I always want to do something special for our intuition in October. It just feels like, I don't know, Christmas for intuitives. And then also I'm opening the doors to my program called Intuition Circle. It's an online psychic and intuitive development program for women where we have live readings with each other on Zooms. We do live breakout sessions where we break into smaller groups and practice with each other. And we do live trainings, Q&A calls and coaching with me. I'm on all of those calls, but I'm definitely on the Q&A where you can unmute on Zoom, ask questions. And if we don't have too many questions, we usually go on and practice some intuitive development together. And here's what I've been fascinated with intuition forever. And the fastest way to develop your intuition, we all have it. And we as sensitive souls have it in spades. We feel and see and know and hear deeper than most people. That's a skill we can even develop even more and understand in ourselves and use it to help our own lives, navigate our own lives with more joy and flow. And then eventually I noticed intuitives want to go off and help other people do that also. It's really my love and passion. It's one of my loves and passions. Yes, I'm so glad you're here. And so that's what Intuition Circle is. We learn every month. We have something we're working on, a topic. Like this month is oracle cards. We're using those as a doorway to go into our intuition. Next month in November, we are going to do something brand new called frequency and vibration, and trying to understand our own vibration, managing and intentionally changing our vibration to see if we perceive differently. It's something brand new I've never done. I'm excited for us to get into that. But so we have a little bit of theory, but my intention with Intuition Circle is practice, practice, practice. And we don't care about right and wrong. We're not trying to be right to prove our intuition is worthy. We have growth mindset there. We just try things and experiment and discover, and we let go of right and wrong. And in the discovery and in the joy, we have a lot of development. So anyway, that's what Intuition Circle is. And that's why I'm doing this, is to give everyone a taste of Intuition Circle. If you're interested in joining, we're happy to send you information about it. That's it for that. And I can talk a little bit more about it. We're going to give away 2 prizes today. Also, we're doing 2 every day. So make sure you're saying hello in the chat, that you're here live with me, because we're going to pick people from the comments. Okay, let's get started. Discover your strongest ability. There's 4. There's actually more, but there's 4 main ones. I'm going to turn off my little heater here. It's making my throat dry. There's 4 main abilities: knowing, hearing, feeling, and seeing. I'll talk more about those in a minute. I first want to take you through a guided meditation, and I'm going to what am I going to do? I'm going to take you through a guided meditation, and I just want you to play along. This is not a test. It's just, I want you to be able to play along. And at the end, I'm going to ask you some questions, and it's going to tell us a little bit more about whether you're a seer, a feeler, a hearer, or a knower. Okay. You guys cool with that? Okay, let's get started. You are not allowed to be driving a car and do this meditation. If you're in the car, don't do this. If you're driving a car, everybody else is allowed to do it. Okay, if you can, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale completely. Let it all go. This is just going to take 3 or 4 minutes. Imagine, sense, and feel that you're on a beach, and it's a beautiful, warm summer day. It can be a beach you've been to before, or you can just make it up right now. It doesn't matter. Just imagine, sense, and feel yourself on the beach on a beautiful, warm summer day. And I want you to be in the sand. Feel your feet on the sand. Wiggle your toes in the sand. How does the sand feel on your feet? What does the sand feel like? What does it look like? Bend down now and touch the sand with your hands. Pick up the sand and kind of just let it stream through your fingers if you can. What color is the sand? Is it white? Is it yellowy, brown? Maybe it's a different color than that. Is the sand cool or warm, dry, wet? What do you notice? Really look at the sand and feel it. And then whenever you're ready, I want you to walk down to the edge of the water, where the beach meets the water. And allow your feet to go into the water, maybe even up to your ankles or your knees, wherever you feel comfortable in the water. Notice how the water feels. And look at the water. What do you notice about the water? Is the water clear? Cloudy? What color is the water? And while you're standing there in the water, I want you to turn around and look at the beach. What do you see on the beach? What do you hear on the beach. Look up in the sky. What do you notice in the sky? What color is the sky? What do you hear? And whenever you're ready, I want you to walk along the edge of the beach now, where the water meets the shore. Feel the salty sea air float around you. Hear the sounds of the birds. Hear the sounds of the waves. Beautiful. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Yeah. Okay, how was that for you? No worries if you're late. No worries at all. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions now. I want you to kind of just stay in this kind of meditative state. What did you notice? Were you able to see anything? Were you able to see the sand, the water, the beach, the sky, birds? Maybe you saw things that I didn't even mention. Make note of that. Just notice what you were able to see. And I'll give you a minute to just kind of think about that. Awesome. Thanks for typing it in the chat, guys, ladies. Next question. Were you able to feel anything during that meditation? Could you feel the sand on your feet or in your hands? Could you feel the water? Could you feel the breeze? Could you feel the sun? And maybe you felt things that I didn't even mention, and notice that also. Awesome. Keep typing in the chat. Yeah, somebody just said they also saw boats and planes. Awesome. You could have seen things outside of what I said. Makes sense. Could you hear anything? Could you hear the birds? Could you hear the waves, the wind? Could you hear anything on the beach? Last one. Maybe you didn't see, feel, or hear, but you just knew you were on the beach. You didn't know how you knew it. No, you didn't see it. You didn't feel it, but you just knew you were on the beach. You knew you were walking on the beach. You knew it. Yeah. Type it in the chat now. Which one of these was the strongest for you? Maybe it's just one. Maybe it's two of them. Maybe it's three. Maybe it's all of them. Which one was the strongest for you? Type it. You can either put see, feel, hear, or know. Or maybe you're going to put see and feel were my strongest. Type it in the chat now. Feel, see, know, hearing and seeing, know, felt, feel, see and feel. See was my strongest. See and hear, see and feel, see, feel, and hear. Hear, oh, I lost it. Hear and feel. Type it in the chat. Beautiful, Susan. Good. Awesome. This quick meditation, why is it important? Do you see how you doing this 5-10 minute practice strengthens, ignites your intuition? You just did an exercise, a meditation where you started to go, oh, I noticed I could see more. Oh, I noticed my strongest was this, or I noticed my strongest was this. This is you developing your intuition. Does that make sense? Is this helpful? Okay. Do you have any questions about this? Can you type it in the chat right now if you have any questions? I'm trying to think what else I want to say about this. This brings clarity to how you're wired. Like, why is this important is the question that keeps coming up in my head. And it's like, I want you to see how you're wired. And my teachers taught me to focus on the one that's strongest first and continue to develop that. And I know this is a group of empaths. Almost all of you have this one, right? Clairsentience. You feel people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions. A lot of people have the misconception that if you don't see, then that means you're not intuitive. It's not true. This is just one of the senses, right? This is just one. My seeing is not strong. My feeling is the strongest. I build this one every once in a while when I remember to. This one is I can develop strongly within me if I stay awake to it. Knowing is the hardest one to describe. I don't have it. I shouldn't say that. I'm not aware of it, but some people have it very strongly. And here's what they'll say to me, Michelle, I don't know. Did I see it? Did I feel it? No, I just knew it. I knew what was going to happen. I knew that's what he was thinking. I knew I was on the beach. That is a claircognizant person. Somebody just said, this is like an awakening for me. Awesome. Then we've just ignited you. That's great. This is awesome. Okay, let me answer some of these questions. I don't want to miss them. Can you have a little of all of it? Yes, Sheila, you can have a little of all of it. And you have the ability to develop them all even stronger if you want. If you don't have a desire, then don't do it. But if you're like, wow, this is really interesting to me, I could see, feel, hear, and know more if I wanted to. Yes, it's available to you. How often do you recommend doing this? I guess we're back to desire. I have a strong desire to learn, to see what I'm capable of with my intuition. So I have a strong desire to practice every day. So I practice a lot. If you have a strong desire, I recommend doing it as much as you have a desire to learn it. I always follow my interest and desires. It leads me, it keeps me on my life purpose path. So every day, if you're into it, if you're not that into it, then maybe once a week, you get to decide. Somebody just said, I've never heard of claircognizance. Not sure what that really means. It's the hardest one for me to describe. It's just a knowing. So the people who are claircognizant, they just know things. They don't see them. They don't hear them. They don't feel them. It's a knowing. I don't know how I know this. I just know. Beautiful, Tamar. When I'm imagining see is primary, but when I receive feel or know are the strongest. Oh, why when imagining see is my primary, but when I receive feel or know is my strongest? This is from Facebook user. I can't see your name. Why when imagining see is primary? Okay. I think I'm not sure if I'm getting this correctly, but I think I know what you're saying. You know how when we just did that meditation and you were imagining and you were proactive, right? And you could see. And then when you are receiving, it feels like when you're receiving it, you're talking about being receptive, right? You're like maybe someone's coming into the room and you can feel and know. So I think it's just a matter of you finding out that that's interesting. When you are proactively imagining, you're seen as the strongest. And when you're receiving, that feeling and what was the other one? Knowing are the strongest. I think that's just cool to know that. And I think you could even play around with that. Like, could you, when you imagine again, do this exercise again, could you turn on feeling and knowing and see what that experience was going to be like? You have room to learn there. Okay. Oh, Cynthia, this is such a good question. Is it my imagination? That is what I've always thought. So I used to think this too, Cynthia, when I first started developing my intuition. I would blow it off like, "Oh, I'm just making this up. This is just my imagination." What I know now, and I don't really have the answers, but here's what I'm thinking. This is what I believe now. I'm open to learning more. Either imagination and intuition are right next to each other, or they're in the same space. So in my world, I've just decided I prime the pump with my imagination. And that is the space I go to receive intuitive information. Does that make sense? They're either right next to each other and me turning on my imagination turns on my intuition, or they're the same thing. I don't really know. In my mind, I put them together. But I've had that question in my mind for years, and I've just decided they're the same thing. Is that helpful, Cynthia? Now there's a difference. There's a difference, and I can't really speak to the difference. It's not coming to me, but the difference, how I do it and knowing for myself, is my intention. If my intention is to imagine, to just let myself be free and draw or paint or allow things to come in, that's one thing. If I have the intention to get specific information for myself or others, that feels different to me, but it comes from the same, it feels like it comes from the same channel, but my intention is different. Cynthia, is that helpful? I hope that's helpful. They're in the same space for me. Okay, I think that was it am I missing any questions? Oh, one more. I can totally, never mind. Sharon, I think you're responding to somebody else. Okay, awesome. Awesome, Cynthia. Okay, somebody just said, this is the last one. It doesn't happen often, but every once in a while, I will say to myself or someone I am with, I believe that such and such is going to happen, and then it does. Is this claircognizance? Yes. That's claircognizance. That's a clear knowing. That's a clear knowing. Yeah. And we all have that ability. We've all had those moments when you knew something was going to happen. Jane says, is intuition a gut instinct, a knowing? It can be, Jane. To me, again, I haven't read this anywhere. It's just years of practice and studying and doing that have made me believe certain things. I think intuition is on a spectrum, and that we move on the spectrum constantly based on all the influences in our own energy. It's constantly fluctuating. But I think gut instincts is on the spectrum of intuition, right? All the way down to the most primitive pieces of like survival, those survival instincts, all the way up out of survival into the higher vibrational things. Does that make sense? I think it's all on the same spectrum. I hope that's helpful, Jane. Okay, Sheila says, my abilities have often been mistaken for mental illness. Yeah, Sheila, let's talk. I'm hoping you're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to talk about fears, doubts, judgments of ourselves and others tomorrow. I think that would be a great time to bring that up. Leslie says, oh, I'll go to Annie first. When I hear things like words in my head, who is putting those words there? Annie, that's a good question. I call this the source of messages. Where did you go? Oh, there you go. Okay, I call that the source of messages. And that's something you can learn to manage. That's something you can study and grow. Like, where is this information coming from? That's called the source of messages. And there's many sources of messages. And that's something we do inside of Intuition Circle if you're interested. I was very interested in the source of messages in the beginning of my journey because I was like, it's a good question to ask. Where is this coming from? And then now I just trust the information. I'm not so worried about the source of message. But I think it's a great question to ask and something to study at the beginning of your journey. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Yeah, somebody else said they come from the spirit realm. Somebody else said spirit guides, angels. There's a lot of beliefs about where the source of messages come from. Good, Annie. If you're interested, come inside of Intuition Circle for a month and check it out. I would love to work with you on that. Okay, I hope this was helpful, guys, ladies and gentlemen. This is day 2. Tomorrow is a big day. It's the blocks to our intuition, and it's the weird stuff. Fears, doubts about ourselves and others, being judged by ourselves and others. People will think I'm crazy. We're going to go through all that tomorrow. It's an important day. I want to do 2 raffles right now. If you are still here with me live, will you say me in the chat? M-E, me, me. And I'm just going to randomly, I've got 2 numbers in my mind, and I'm going to randomly just count down. So type. Yeah, awesome. Oh, good. They just popped up. Okay, I gotta count. Hold on. They're flying in fast. Okay, there we go. Kristen Duffy Valesco. I counted down from my number in my head. You've won one of the prizes. If you will do me a favor and email us at team@michellelegale.com. Sharon will put it in the chat for you. And then let me grab the other one. I got to start at the top again. Give me just a sec, everybody. And then Tamar Resnick. Tamar, if I hope I'm saying your name right, Tamar Resnick, you're the second winner. We're gonna send you a prize. Hopefully you're cool with that. You are also going to send us an email at team@michellelegale.com. Okay, awesome. I hope that's helpful. If you tomorrow's going to be our last day. I hope you're getting something out of this. My big goal was, can we actually increase people's intuition in 3 days? Are we getting there? Yesterday, we did the phases of intuitive development. You self-identified where you are. Today, we did your strongest ability. Hopefully you self-identified that you're a seer, feeler, hearer, knower, or maybe a combo of these. And I want you now to understand that you get to develop these at any capacity you want to. We all have the ability to grow and develop our abilities. There's no one's left out. The only requirement is probably an interest in doing so. If you have no interest, like this doesn't call to you, then it's not for you. If you're here today and you're like, I really like this, I'm interested in this, This is for you. Does that make sense? We just have to follow what our heart is interested in, what our soul's calling us to do. We follow our excitement. So if this excites you, that's awesome. You're on the right track. And I invite you to join me inside of Intuition Circle. It's just a month to month. So even if you come in for a month and check it out, hang out with us on the live Zoom calls, the content, there's dozens of classes for you to check out. We also have a private Facebook group, beautiful community of women to support and love you. Try it at least for a month. If you don't like it, I give you your money back. It's that simple. Tomorrow we are going to do overcoming fears, doubts, and judgments about your abilities. It's one of the biggest things that slow people down is our own inner wobble, our own inner wobble, and our fear of what other people will think of us. It's a big deal. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I'll see you tomorrow again at 12 o'clock Eastern, and I'm sticking to the 30 minutes. I'm doing pretty good. I'm right on schedule. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to let me know in the comments below, and we'll make sure to keep checking this throughout the week. Okay, everybody, have a great day. Bye. See you tomorrow.